Newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Baum Chevy Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. Here's our school cancellations for today, Monday, January 26th. Argenta-Oreana has closed. They will have no school, while Belmont and Blue Ridge will utilize e-learning today. Cerro Gordo will also have a remote learning day today. Clinton schools will be using an emergency day and will have no school. However, they note that at this time, all after-school activities are continuing as planned. Dillon, Weldon, and Lincoln will be using e-learning today, as well as Maroa, Forsyth, and Monticello will also be using e-learning. Mount Pulaski will use e-learning, and evening activities are still to be determined for them, while Warrensburg-Latham schools will also utilize e-learning today. At last week's DeWitt County Board meeting, the board approved the contractor for a repair to a rural bridge that has been closed for a few years. DeWitt County Highway Engineer Mark Mathan indicates the bid for work to Stark Excavating, and the bid was under budget.
They voted to approve a resolution awarding that project to Stark Excavating, who had the low bid submitted.
Okay.
That low bid was 9.3% under the engineer's estimate, so we're real pleased with how that pricing came out. Well, that dollar amount was $709,800 and something. Like I said, it was 9.3% under. It's always good to see favorable pricing.
Sure.
As far as timing goes, as I'm communicating with them about the award and getting contracts executed, that's when we'll be touching base about that. But typically, we would see somewhere in a 6 to 8 week time frame, which is based generally on, at this point of the year, weather as well as fabricating of the beams, which is done on a job by job basis.
According to Mathan, issues with the original deck beams caused the closure a couple of years ago. It will be demolished and rebuilt.
There were some issues with the original deck beams that caused the closure. What will be going on with it is the existing structure will be demoed out, and then there's some earthwork to be done along the channel for riprap, along where the new abutments will be. They'll be pile driven. The roadbed raises by about 1.5 feet. So there'll be a fair amount of dirt work involved in getting that new alignment.
Mathan says it is a roughly 50-day project, and once the weather clears enough for work to begin, and they will begin it. He anticipates work being completed by the summer. Scams to steal your personal information continue to be problematic. That's why it remains critical to safeguard important personal documents like your Social Security card. Jack Myers with Social Security reminds that most of the time you will not need to show your card to anybody. Your Social Security card is not an identity document.
Yep, that's for sure, Seth. We always say that your Social Security card is safer at home. Unfortunately, scams to steal your personal information continue to be problematic. You've got to make sure you're safeguarding your information, your personal documents like that Social Security card. There's really no reason for you to carry your Social Security card around with you on a daily basis. And that includes, and I'm talking to you fellas, that includes the little piece of paper in your wallet that has the number written down on it. That's just as bad, so get that out of there as well. We don't need that stuff with us on a daily basis, because what happens is if you lose your wallet or you lose your purse, whatever the case may be, and that's in there, now whoever finds it or whoever steals it, if that's what happens, has documents like your driver's license probably, and your social security number, credit cards. So it's really a bad situation, and you really are opening yourself up to a lot of potential problems via identity theft. So there's no reason to have that there with you. Keep it at home, keep it in the safe spot.
In many situations, you only need to know your social security number. If you are going to have a business need for your social security card, Myers points out, you'll typically know about that in advance and you can take your card that day.
Very rarely are you going to be required to show that social security number. Typically it's going to be like maybe if you're opening a new bank account or something, if you're applying for a job, usually just knowing the number is going to be enough. So don't carry that around with you on a daily basis. Make sure that you're keeping it somewhere safe. And also be careful when people ask you for that number. Don't be afraid to ask them why. I tell people all the time, it feels like you go somewhere and there's a form and it asks for your number because it's always asked for your number. But if you leave it blank, a lot of times they say, oh, that's okay, we don't really need it. So don't worry about asking. Say, hey, do you really need that? And they might say yes. And if they say yes, then you got to decide, do you want to give it to them or not? And they could refuse you whatever service you're looking for if they need it and you don't provide it. So that's something to be aware of. But don't be afraid to ask is my point, because sometimes they say, nah, we don't really need it. And then you just didn't have to write it on that paper. So keep that card at home, keep it safe, and watch out for scams.
Remember to take your social security card out of your wallet or purse, though, and put it back in its safe spot afterwards. And keeping it at home reduces the risk of loss or theft and helps you keep your information safe. To learn more about fraud and identity theft, please visit ssa.gov/fraud. If you'd like to learn more about Social Security related scams, visit ssa.gov/scams. Let's take a look at some snowfall totals from this weekend, courtesy of Coco Ross, which is a great service to find precipitation totals and snowfall totals throughout your local area. Looking just north of Clinton, about Hayworth area, we've got 3.5 inches of snow, and it kind of tapers off as we look north towards Bloomington, looking at 3.1, 2.5 on the north end of normal, just 2 inches of snow. And then looking all the way up north to Peoria, 2 inches, a 1.5 as you get a little closer to the center of Peoria, but generally 2 inches in and around that area. If we look south of Clinton and DeWitt County, quite a bit more in Decatur, 6.5 inches on the northeast side of Decatur, and 4.5 inches reported in just about the center of town. If we go east all the way to Urbana and Champaign, I see 6.2 inches of snow, 6 inches, 5.7. So east of us got quite a bit. And the southeast corner of Champaign County, 7.4 inches. And then 7.3 even east, south of Danville, as well in Vermilion County. If we look west of DeWitt County and Clinton, 4.8 inches, 4.7 inches in Lincoln and Logan County. And then going south to Springfield, 6 inches of snow and 5 inches reported, even 6.5 inches reported around Chatham, 4.5 in Morgan County around the Jacksonville area. If we go south to Effingham, things only get more and more snowy. Effingham County, 8 inches of snow, 8.1. And if we look down to the St. Louis area, seeing 10.5 inches in Belleville, 11 inches in Highland, and then even in Missouri, getting down into the St. Louis area, 10.5 inches. So the southern parts of the state, quite a bit of snow, 11 inches, 12 inches in Franklin County, Benton area, so very southern part of the state. Quite a bit of snow through the southern and central part of the state over the weekend. Illinois State climatologist Trent Ford will present at the Everything Local Conference in Springfield later this weekend.
It is really a showcase and a great meeting for really the specialty crop industry. And in Illinois, we being such a corn and beans and to a little bit of a lesser extent wheat dominated state, it can be easy to kind of, especially for outsiders, to kind of write off Illinois as just corn and beans. But you really get just an education into the diversity and the wealth of different types of ag across the state when you go to that Everything Local Conference. And I sit on the advisory board for the Specialty Growers Association, so I'm there usually most years anyway. And what's really enjoyable, there's many things that are enjoyable about it, but just popping into different meetings. And I remember going from one that was talking about farmers markets and how to organize them in larger urban areas, and then popping into another meeting about mushrooms, and growing mushrooms and all of the things. You go outside and mushrooms are growing everywhere. It seems like during wet years, it's like, well, but just the kind of small things that take to do that. And somebody was talking about homegrown or ginger, commercially grown ginger. And so it talk about all the fruits and the nuts, and it's just a really great event to get a good idea of the diversity of food and fiber and flowers that are grown in the state of Illinois. And for growers, those who have been growing non-commodity crops for a while, or those commodity crop farmers that are interested in diversifying their crop, it's a great way to break into that market, learn more about the markets, the equipment, the business aspect of it.
The conference is Wednesday through Friday at the Bank of Springfield Center. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
Happy New Year from all of us here at Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. This is Scott Baum. Most of our customers trade for a different SUV or truck because their needs change each year. That's good because we have transportation options for you. Plus, we need your trade. Our selection of top quality, pre-owned trades come from you. Come see our ever-changing Chevrolet and Buick inventory today. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
News time is 24 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. The Illinois Farm Bureau is hosting a number of rules for the road sessions throughout the state in February and March. The organization's Rodney Niddle says many of the sites get help from IDOT and/or state police.
Yeah, a lot of times at most of our events, I know they'll try to get someone there at our events, but to have someone that has commercial motor vehicle enforcement experience and/or weights and measures department as well, a lot of times is at our events as well, and so excited to be able to work closely with them as well to bring their knowledge to the table as well and ask questions. It's just kind of an open forum. We go over certain information that I think is vitally important, and then a lot of times members bring up a lot of additional conversation that comes direct from the members.
The sessions are hosted by the following county farm bureaus: McHenry on February 19th, Stevenson on February 20th, Union and Monroe on February 24th, Edgar on February 25th, Tazewell on February 26th, Ford Iroquois on March 3rd, Mercer on March 4th, Pike Scott on March 11th, and Lawrence on March 12th. Among USDA's Farm Service Agency loan programs are offerings that could assist producers with recovery in the event of a disaster. Now for your local obituaries. Robert E. Bob Shaw, 78, of Decatur, passed away at 6:50 a.m. January 23rd at Lincoln Village Healthcare in Lincoln. Services will be 12 p.m. Thursday, February 5th at Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton, with Pastor Jonathan Roberson officiating. Visitation will be 11 to 12 p.m. Thursday at the funeral home. Graveside services will be 2 p.m. Thursday, February 5th at Camp Butler National Cemetery in Springfield with military honors. Memorials may be directed to the Robert E. Shaw Memorial Fund in care of Barbara Shaw. Gloria Giesemann Wilford, 73, of Clinton, passed away at 8:28 a.m. January 24th at her home in Clinton. Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton is in charge of arrangements. Online condolences may be made at calvertmemorial.com. Jane Ann Lane, 87, of Moments, Illinois, formerly of Clinton, Illinois, passed away at 1:13 p.m. January 22nd at the Bickford of Bourbonnais in Bourbonnais, Illinois. Arrangements are incomplete at Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton. Roger David Noy, 72, of Clinton, passed away at 7:40 a.m. January 20th at the Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton. Services will be 11 a.m. Monday, January 26th at the Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton, with Scott Marsh officiating. Visitation will be 9 to 11 a.m. Monday at the funeral home. In lieu of flowers, memorials may be directed to the Roger David Noy Memorial Fund in care of Sherry Noy. Kathy K. Schneep, 69, of Forsyth, passed away at 3:11 p.m. January 20th at her home in Forsyth, Illinois. A celebration of her life will be held at 12:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday, April 11th at the Decatur VFW Post 99, 3920 North Martin Luther King Drive in Decatur, Illinois, 62526. Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton assisted the family with cremation rites. Memorials may be directed to Second Chance Pet Adoption or the Macon County Animal Control and Care Center. Get news anytime from your computer or your mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com. Network news is now.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Around 5,000 flights canceled or delayed so far today as a large swath of the country deals with the aftermath of the monster winter storm. It spread snow and ice from New Mexico to New England, and now it's bitterly cold. It's prompting rescue missions and other shelters to open their doors even wider to those who live in the streets. Hundreds of thousands of utility customers left in the dark. The severe weather is blamed for at least a dozen deaths. Homeland Security has launched an investigation of the fatal shooting of an armed man by a federal agent in Minneapolis. Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino says the incident will be thoroughly investigated. The anti-ICE protests continue in Minneapolis. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures are down 3 points, while the NASDAQ futures are off 46 points. More details, srnnews.com.
Is your dog a picky eater, scratching all the time, eating grass, or licking their paws until they're raw? If so, your dog's trying to tell you something. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, founder of Rough Greens here, and you may not know what your dog means, but I do. They're trying to tell you that his digestive tract is in distress. He needs live probiotics and enzymes, and guess what? You can't get that from kibble. It's not in there. The good news is you don't have to change his food to improve his health. Just add a scoop of Rough Greens. It's America's #1 nutritional dog supplement for a reason. With live vitamins, omega oils, antioxidants, enzymes, and probiotics, just sprinkle it on your dog's food and watch them come back to life. More energy, shinier coat, better digestion, all in 90 days or less. Want a happier, healthier dog? I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. Use discount code PICKY. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code PICKY. Rough Greens. So good, your dog will ask for it by name.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. Defenseman Tobias Bjornfot scored his first 2 goals this season, giving him just 3 over 7 NHL seasons and 139 career games. And the Florida Panthers defeated the Chicago Blackhawks 5-1 on Sunday night for their 3rd straight win. Mackie Samashevich and Carter Vergahay connected 2 minutes and 4 seconds apart early in the 3rd period, and Sam Reinhart added an empty netter as the Panthers won for the 6th time in 8 games. Danil Tarasov made 19 saves, and the 2-time defending Stanley Cup Panthers moved 8 games over 500 for the first time this season. Tyler Bertuzzi scored his team-leading 25th goal for the Blackhawks. Spencer Knight, who started his career with Florida, made 20 saves and fell to 0-2 against his former team. The teams generated only a handful of chances through the 1st and 2nd periods, and neither pressured it with a territorial edge. Bjornfot's fluke goal opened the scoring with 4 minutes and 27 seconds left in the 2nd. From a face-off in the Chicago zone, he circled the net and jammed the puck through Knight's pads from the right side. It was the journeyman's first goal in 5 games this season. His previous score came in May of 2021 with Los Angeles during the COVID-19 altered season. Bertuzzi tied it at 1-1 with 29.3 seconds left. At the edge of the crease, he took Ilya Mikiev's feed and shoveled a high shot past Tarasov's stick side. The Panthers responded with a 4-goal 3rd period despite playing at Minnesota on Saturday and winning 4-3 in overtime. Samoskevich put Florida back ahead at 5 minutes and 20 seconds of the final frame when his shot from the slot slipped under Knight's arm and trickled over the goal line. Vergahay upped it to 3-1 just over 2 minutes later, firing a one-timer from the slot. Reinhart scored into an empty net with 1 minute and 49 seconds left. With Knight back in goal, Bjornfot connected with 22 seconds left after he cruised into the slot and fired in Vergahay's feed. The Panthers will host Utah on Tuesday, while the Blackhawks are at Minnesota on Tuesday. The Clinton Lady Maroons dominated the Shelbyville Lady Rams to open the Central Illinois Conference Girls Basketball Tournament with a 58-28 win Saturday afternoon at Meridian High School. Clara Dempsey scored 19 points to lead all scorers for Clinton. Lila Kluver added 17 points, while Carly Anderson finished with 12 points. The Lady Maroons continue pool play for the CIC tournament this week at Meridian when they battle Warrensburg-Latham on Tuesday. In a game heard on WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com, Nathan Southern scored 28 points and 4 players scored in double figures as Warrensburg-Latham overwhelmed Monticello in a 78-50 rout Saturday afternoon In non-conference high school boys basketball action in Warrensburg, Southern hit 9 3-pointers and had a 4-point play. The Cardinals, who led 49-38 after 3 quarters, hit 7 3-pointers in the final frame, and the 30-point running clock activated with just under 2 minutes left. Easton McKenzie added 14 points for the Cardinals. Drew Chakowski added 11 points, and Alex Harden finished with 10 points. One of the few bright spots for the Sages was Nolan Benny-Kemper, who finished with 23 points. He was the State Bank of Bement player of the game. The Cardinals improved to 20-3 overall. Monticello dropped its 4th straight to fall to 10-7. They will host Paxton Buckley Loda on Tuesday night in the Illini Prairie Conference action. Game time is 7 p.m. Hear all the action on 95.9 FM WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com. A slow second half was too much for Argenta-Oreana to overcome as the Bombers fell 51-38 to Arcola Saturday afternoon in Lincoln Prairie Conference high school boys basketball action in Arcola. The Bombers trailed 30-26 at the break, but only mustered 12 total second-half points as Arcola held off Argenta-Oreana thanks to balanced scoring. Harris Mayhall had a game-high 16 points for the Purple Raiders. Sawyer Maxwell added 14 points, and Remy Roberts finished with 11 points. The Bombers were led by Isaiah Parks, 12 points. Jackson Finch and Cameron Jenkins each scored 11. Arcola improves to 10-9 and 3-2 in the Lincoln Prairie Conference. Argenta-Oreana drops to 7-13 overall and 3-3 in the LPC. Taylorville outlasted Monticello in double overtime in high school girls basketball action on Saturday afternoon at the Seaver Center in Monticello for a final score of 51-48. The game was nearly even the entire way. Allie Widener recorded a double-double with 11 points and 10 rebounds to lead Monticello. Emma Arnold and Kiara Grace each had 7 points. Sarah Cressip, Maddie Melton, and Lexi Leatherwood each had 6 points. The Lady Sages fall to 12-12 overall. They will host Paxton Buckley Loda on Tuesday night. Keaton Wagler scored a career-high 46 points, making 9 3-pointers, as the number 11 Illinois Fighting Illini beat the number 4 Purdue Boilermakers 88-82 on Saturday. Wagler, a freshman guard, shot 13 for 17 overall, 9 of 11 from three-point range, and 11 of 13 on free throws. David Mirkovic added 12 points and 8 rebounds for the Illini, who improved to 17-3 and 8-1 in the Big Ten. Braden Smith led the Boilermakers with 27 points and 12 assists. They fall to 17-3 and 7-2 in the Big Ten. Trey Kaufman-Wren added 12 points for Purdue, which lost its second consecutive game. The Illini hit 18 of 38 three-pointers, while Purdue was 7 of 19. Wagler had 24 of the Illini's 39 first-half points, including the first 14. Smith's three-pointer cut Illinois' lead to 82-80 with 45 seconds left. Wagler answered with a jumper with 18 seconds left, and after Smith made 2 from the line to again make it a 2-point game, Wagler hit a 2 to make it 86-82 with 9.3 seconds left. Purdue then turned the ball over. Purdue shot 63% in the opening half compared to 43% for Illinois. However, the Illini countered that by hitting 9 of 21 three-pointers, while the Boilermakers were 3 of 8 on three-point shots. Illinois played without reserve center Jason Jaxtis, who was out with an injury. Illini coach Brad Underwood previously announced guard Kyle Boswell, who averages 14.3 points, will be out at least a month with a fractured bone in his right hand. Illinois hosts Washington on Thursday. Purdue is at Indiana on Tuesday. Ian Dillon's 16 points off the bench led Belmont to an 80-69 victory over Illinois State on Saturday. Dillon shot 6 for 8, including 4 for 5 from beyond the arc for the Bruins, who improved to 18-3 and 8-2 in the Missouri Valley Conference. Jabez Jenkins added 14 points while shooting 6 of 8 from the field, while also having 5 rebounds and 3 steals. Tyler Lundblade shot 2 for 7 and 6 for 6 from the free throw line to finish with 11 points. The Redbirds fall to 14-7 and 6-4 in the MVC. They were led in scoring by Johnny Kinziger, who finished with 13 points and 5 assists. Chase Walker added 12 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks for Illinois State. Ty Pence had 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals. Belmont pulled off the victory after a 10-0 second-half run, erased a 2-point deficit, and gave them the lead at 66-58 with 8 minutes and 1 second left in the half. Dillon scored 11 second-half points. Chase Dawson's 18 points helped Morehead State defeat Eastern Illinois 73-68 on Saturday. Dawson shot 6 of 9 from the field, including 2 of 3 from three-point range, and went 4 of 4 from the line for the Eagles, who improved to 11-10 and 7-3 in the Ohio Valley Conference. Enor Malok scored 12 points while finishing 5 of 9 from the floor and added 11 rebounds and 4 blocks. George Marshall shot 3 of 6 from the field and 5 of 6 from the free throw line to finish with 12 points. Preston Turner led the way for the Panthers with 18 points. They fall to 9-12 and 5-5 in the OVC. Eastern Illinois also got 13 points from Cooper Jacoby. Kevin Herter made a three-pointer just before the buzzer, lifting the Chicago Bulls past the Boston Celtics 114-111 before retiring Derrick Rose's jersey number on Saturday night. Kobe White scored 22 points and hit 5 of Chicago's 21 threes, helping the Bulls win their 4th straight. Rose entered rarefied air after the game when the Bulls sent his number 1 jersey to the rafters, putting the Chicago product alongside Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Jerry Sloan, and Bob Love as the only players with numbers retired by the team. The Bulls gave their crowd plenty to cheer for before they honored the Southside product and former MVP by squeezing out a win over the Eastern Conference second-place team, even though Jaylen Brown scored 33 points for Boston. Chicago led 111-109 when White missed a driving layup and Smith missed the putback with 20 seconds remaining. Brown got the rebound and drove for a layup to tie it with 14 seconds left. The Bulls called a timeout and worked the ball to Herter, who nailed a 3 from the left corner with less than a second remaining. Herter arrived at the United Center wearing a number 1 jersey in honor of Rose. Nikola Vucevic scored 16 points for Chicago, and Smith and Mattis Buzelis added 14 points apiece. And Fernie Simmons finished with 21 points for Boston. Derek White added 15 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. The Celtics will host Portland on Monday, while the Bulls host the LA Lakers on Monday. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL Sports Wire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
I'm weatherology meteorologist Derek Height with a significant weather update brought to you exclusively by ServPro of Piatt, DeWitt counties, your fire, storm, and water restoration specialists. An extreme cold warning continues until noon today. An extreme cold warning means that extremely cold air is now in place, with air temperatures alone dropping to 50 below or colder, not including any wind chill. Temperatures this cold can cause frostbite to expose skin in a matter of minutes. If you must venture outdoors, wear multiple loose-fitting layers of clothing covering as much skin as possible. If you must travel, keep a winter survival kit in your vehicle. A cold weather advisory begins at 6 p.m. this evening and continues until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. A cold weather advisory means that either temperatures or a combination of temperatures and wind will create much colder than usual feels-like temperatures across the region. If venturing outdoors for extended periods, frostbite and hypothermia can occur much faster than usual. If you plan on heading outdoors, plan ahead, dress appropriately, and always keep a winter emergency kit in your vehicle. An extreme cold warning continues until noon today. A cold weather advisory begins at 6 p.m. this evening and continues until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Stay tuned for additional updates. I'm meteorologist Derek Height.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. An extreme cold warning remains in effect. Daytime highs approaching 8 above. Today, under mainly clear skies, west winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies. Tonight, lows level off around 1 above. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Tomorrow, highs around 20. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Currently, 4 below.
Let's check Ag News on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLawes Yonke. Many Illinois locations over the weekend had at least a half foot of snow, several of at least 9-10 inches, some to a foot. The highest was 14 inches found in Oblong, with no sign of melting anytime soon. With a long stretch of cold weather, most of the state should stay below freezing throughout this entire week. Illinois State Fire Marshal on their Facebook page noted, when vents for furnaces, dryers, fireplaces, or water heaters are blocked by snow or ice, deadly carbon monoxide can back into your home. Take a few minutes during and after winter storms to check outside vents and carefully clear them if needed. Keep at least 3 feet around vents clear. Watch for drifting snow after heavy winds, and never ignore carbon monoxide alarm alerts. A quick check can help keep your family safe and warm this winter. You can learn more by going to Illinois State Fire Marshal's Facebook page. Out of Washington, disappointment last week related to E15, and once again, falling short of year-round E15 being accepted by Congress. Midwest lawmakers pleaded for action at an emotional House Rules Committee hearing after a deal on the legislation fell apart last week.